I don't know how any of you guys are going and going and going. I know you gotta be at the same level of mental health as me. Every day it's something new between the fucking news and the fucking stupid Biden and stupid Trump. And this country's fucked. Every day we're spending more and more money. None of us are getting ahead. The rich people are the ones that are fucking getting ahead. I'm tired of struggling. I've done everything I can. I'm trying to be a good man. I take care of my daughter. I take care of my wife. The best I can. I can't keep going. Every day it's something new. And then on top of that, as if you're not trying to spend money, you have to. Fucking everything's expensive. I own a painting company. I still can't fucking make it. I'm fucking trying, man. I can't look at my daughter and my wife and know I'm failing. I'm fucking Everybody wake up. It's time to stand up. It's time to be tired of this. It's our turn to fucking eat. I want to eat. I want my family to eat. I want you guys to eat. Stand up. Let's go. Stand up, man. Let's fucking eat. I'm tired. Let's help each other. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care what fucking color you are. If you are not eating and you're struggling, eat with me. Let's struggle together then. Let's be a team.
Hey TikTok, I'm just on here wondering if anybody's feeling the same way I'm feeling. I'm from Illinois and I feel like the gas prices and the electric bills and the prices of food is just so overwhelming anymore. Like, I'm wondering if anybody else is feeling like they're drowning and they can't get out. I work overtime and I cannot get above water. I mean, I literally have no gas for next week. It was either that or get a few groceries to get by. I hit my local food pantries. I'm just wondering if anybody else feels like they're drowning. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great day.
So I just watched a video of a white woman literally crying about the conditions of the United States, how she has to work 60 hours and she's looking at other countries and they don't even have to work 40 hours, how they can take a train for like pennies on the dollar anywhere they want. Meanwhile, like our country's infrastructure is falling apart. How it feels like there's no support nets. It feels like all the safety nets are dissolving and she doesn't understand why. And I both hate and love to remind these folks that the reason why the United States is the way it is because of y'all. A lot of you are the descendants of folks, or might actually be some of the folks, who were more invested in not sharing all of the programs, all of the initiatives that the United States was starting with marginalized people, specifically Black people. Y'all are some of the same folks who would have rather filled in the pools in your neighborhood than share them. Shut down the schools and the libraries rather than share them. That you would rather vote against any forming of these safety nets or any protections for these safety nets rather than share them with marginalized people. Then you look up a generation or two or less later and wonder why you don't have these safety nets to protect you, because you were banking on your whiteness to keep you safe. And a lot of you learned pretty quickly after this election that you don't even have that to keep you safe. That unless your bank account has something like 7 digits in it, that the folks that you were banking on to protect you won't. And that some of the safety nets that maybe your mama or your family had relied upon, like SNAP or Medicaid or Medicare or any of those other basic safety nets, are going to be eradicated by the very people that you voted for. May I suggest, instead of crying, you strap up? The whole bootstrap thing that y'all be telling my people about. Remember that you get what you pay for. For everybody else who's not invested in crying, maybe some suggested reading. Some of Us by Heather McGhee. It talks about how equality is not a zero-sum game. This book has torn me up several times that I've read it, but it is essential reading. So for the next few years, might want to be diving in instead of crying on the internet. Just a thought.
All right. It's not a laughing matter any longer, and it's not easy as a lot of us would think, because the suffering is now at a point where now people need to address it and people need to talk about it, because life has not been easy for the few months in America, and the Americans are really going through a tough time because of the regime and because of the government that is existing right now. And the problem has been what they voted for into the government, not knowing it's going to turn out to be this way. And it's something that really many people are thinking maybe it's a joke or something maybe that cannot happen, because for a very long time the Americans, especially the white Americans, they have positioned themselves into a space of greatness and into a space of supremacism where you think nothing bad can happen to them. And for a very long time, black people have been crying in this land, and they've been actually going through tough times, and to the whole world it was pictured that it is only black people who can be able to suffer, it is only black people who can be able to cry. And at some point they even say that black people suffer because they are black, because of the color and all that. But right now what is happening there is the fact that the government has really made these people suffer. Everything is happening in a bad way. Over taxation is there. The prices of items are shooting. They're going high, and people cannot be able to afford even little things they used to afford. People cannot be able even to put a meal on the table. Some of them think maybe the president came to finish them all. They're saying they regret voting for what they voted for, and they feel like things aren't as usual. Things are not as though they thought it would be. When they were going to vote, they went to vote because they wanted to vote for a good government, and the so-called Make America Great Again has turned into be something else that they did not expect, something else they never wanted. And I think the government should consider that people should not be suffering that much, or people should not be suffering that way, because you see when it gets to a point where now people are really crying, and you can look at them and feel like these people are really crying, their nerves, they feel like things are very hard on them. When it gets to that point, I think the government needs now to at least take some action, because what is happening in America is the fact that the rich wants to be more richer, and the poor will remain to be poor. That is what is happening. It's a narrative of make the richest rich, and make the poorer poor. And it is something that has been going on for quite some time, because the government is really favoring the rich people. I think it's because the narrative has been going on that the government was placed into power by the rich people, and therefore the government has to favor the has to favor the decisions of the rich people and all that, not knowing that there are people down here who are really also suffering and they are crying. And for these few months, they've seen what they've not been seeing in other years, and many of them are regretting. Many of them feel like they would have listened when they were being told not to vote Donald Trump. Now I want you to look at these videos. We'll come back and talk about something here that we need to address, but I think before we watch these videos, we need to understand that after all, and at the end of the day, we are all human beings, and sometimes we also need to live a better life. We also need to live a life that does not have too much pains and all that. So I want you to check out these videos, look at them, and then at the end of it, as we always do, we shall come back and tackle some 2-3 things before we finish up. Take a look.
Can't afford our rent. We can't afford our prescriptions. We can't
have energy for stuff like your kids, chores, hobbies, etc. Fail miserably, feel awful, and then repeat.
I don't understand why you have to pay to live on a planet you were born on.
I ask myself that question every single day. Why do we have to pay to live on Earth? I mean, humans really saw views like this right here and said, let's come up with cities where we build apartments one on top of another. We live like a can of sardines. You're gonna live paycheck to paycheck. Let's invent a thing called 30-year mortgages. I mean, doesn't make much sense. I'm down here in South America asking myself that question. I am right now thinking of how to build my house stone by stone. I want to build a stone house, and if necessary, have solar, or not if necessary, if possible, have solar panels, have a watering cistern. If you like this kind of stuff, stick around.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k, because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home, and you only eat decent quality food, because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows, just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to... There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means, objectively, you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
Hi guys, I'm really stressed today. I just went to the grocery store, bought 10 items, and it was $80 freaking already. I literally have $10 left on my account. The fuck? So a little backstory. I got laid off from my job a month ago. And I've been applying for jobs months before I got laid off. Sent out hundreds of resumes already. Applied to hundreds of jobs on the internet, remote and on-site. Tailored my resume to every position that I applied using ChatGPT. Went to only a few interviews. And still nothing. Like, what the fuck is going on with America right now? Like, it's so freaking hard to live here. Like, I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna keep applying for jobs. I'm gonna keep showing up. But man, my bills are not going to wait.
So it's literally come to this. I'm holding a stack of resumes, and I've been going to restaurants and stuff for the past few days asking if they're hiring or anything. I moved to New York City a number of months ago, and I got laid off from my corporate job literally a week after signing a lease. I wouldn't say I'm embarrassed or ashamed by any means. Like, I don't think I'm above service jobs at all. This just is not what I was expecting. This definitely was not part of the New York City fantasy. Heck, it wasn't even part of the adulthood fantasy, if I'm being real. You were supposed to go to college and, like, get a degree, and it's all supposed to work out, right? Wrong. I have 3 degrees, 2 bachelors, 1 in math, another in economics. I got my master's last year in marketing, and I've worked as an analyst, as a lead analyst, and this is where I'm at. I'm trying to remain as hopeful as I can, but, you know, to be honest, I'm pretty worried, a little bit scared. I've been, you know, pretty emotional, understandably. I just don't know what's gonna happen. I'm trying to look at this as a rite of passage, kind of a admissions test into New York City, if you will. Really see if I'm up for it. So I'm gonna keep pushing, you know, keep doing the dang thing, and hopefully things turn out for the better. If I'm being real, I really just want to find my footing on like social media or something, but I need to get real. Like, I need to make money, and that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna, you know, keep pushing, keep trying, just, you know, really hope that things work out for the better sooner rather than later, because this really sucks. This job market is beyond demoralizing, and I just really hope that things shift and, you know, get better. Please.
Living in America is so expensive that it's not even living anymore. It's just a recurring subscription. You pay to live, you pay to work, you pay to eat, you pay to sleep. Rent, more than half your income. Groceries, doubled within a year. Gas, insurance, bills, taxes, damn near make money just to give it away. You're not living the dream. You're financing your own exhaustion. And their solution is budget better. Like you're out here buying Ferraris and filet mignon every single day, when in all reality, you're broke just buying basic needs. And here's the kicker. You do everything right. You go to school, you get the job, you play by the rules, and you're still barely hanging on. It's not your fault. The system was built by design. They want you broke, distracted, and grateful for crumbs, because a stressed, tired population doesn't rebel, it complies.
Dying in America is expensive. So I have terminal cancer, and because of financial situations, I have decided to donate my body to science. I have 3 kids. My oldest is 15, and he understands that it's a money issue, but my youngest 2 do not. And that was a hard conversation to have with them about why they won't have a grave or a funeral when I pass. But funerals cost thousands of dollars. When you donate your body to the local college here, it's like $100 transport fee that I can prepay in advance that covers the transport of my body from wherever I pass to the facility. They then use your body for medical research or, like, you know, surgeons learning or whatever. Then they cremate you for free and send your ashes back to a loved one. For me, that's my ex-husband, and we do not have a good co-parenting relationship. So I have to just entrust with the fact that he will give my ashes to our children. And they'll keep my body for 3 to 5 years using it before they send it to him. Is it a good thing that I'm doing to help, you know, students learn? Yeah. But do I wish my kids would have at least a gravestone? Also, yes.
I want to know what our country thinks is worth celebrating on July 4th this year. Because from everything I see, there's not a whole lot to be happy about and to be excited over, and to say America's the greatest country in the world. Greatest at what? At absolutely screwing over their citizens? Because number 1, baby. There's no reason that I can think of to celebrate a country that preaches life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and denies us all 3 of those things. But you could argue that they do. But here's the reality. The only life that America offers you at this point is the right to just live. You know, you can just be and exist and be a body in the cog of the machine. Unless you're trans, unless you're gay, unless you're not a white man, and unless you're not filthy stinking rich. Liberty, all of those same things apply. You get liberty if you're white, if you're rich, if you're, you know, a man. Pursuit of happiness, that one, don't even get me started, because it's right there in the name. The pursuit of happiness. They never promised that you'd actually catch the happiness. Unless you're white, unless you're rich, unless you're a man. So, you know, America, 4th of July, there's really not a whole lot. So that's my piece. I'm gonna eat my Panda Express. And yeah, so happy 4th, I guess.
Y'all want to know one real reason why America's crashing out like crazy right now? Mediocrity don't hit like it used to, baby. See, once upon a time in America, you could be real mid and still thrive. Mediocre effort, boom, you get a house, car, annual vacation, pension, hell, maybe even a boat. You could clock in, coast through the week, grill on Sundays, and still retire with dignity. But that era is dead and gone, baby. And instead of leveling up or adapting, they're mad, they're bitter, and they're not even blaming the billionaires. They blaming you. They have the audacity to blame me. They blaming immigrants, black people, queer folk, anyone they think is taking something that used to be theirs by default. See, they don't want equality. They want comfort. And when mediocrity no longer gets them that comfort, they start rewriting the rules to rig the game again. It ain't about fairness. It's about preserving the lie. The lie that being average should still be enough for them.
Is anyone else completely sick and tired of living in America where you're expected to work your entire life? Like, we are not here to work. Our jobs are not our lives. Our jobs are not our purpose. Like, everyone asks me, like, what's your job? What are you doing with your life? Like, I'm just trying to save enough and get passive income so I can go travel the world and start my life. Like, everyone thinks their purpose is to work. Like, you get done with high school, then you go to college for 4 years, then you're $30,000 in debt, and then you're trying to find a job just so you can pay off that debt over the next 3 years. And then what? Then you're making enough money just to pay your mortgage and afford groceries and then pay for kids. And then before you know it, you're 60 and you're retiring and your body hurts because of your job and you didn't do anything that you wanted to do. And that's our life. That's what you're expected to do. And if you break out of that, then people are going to judge you and think you're weird or you're crazy or you're a hippie. I'm so sick of it. America needs to make a change. Something needs to change because people are not happy here. People are not living their dreams. People are not living their life. They are working. They think that their work is their life. It is not that way.
Now, as people have been saying, and as how it has been the reactions of many people, especially the black community, is that Americans are reaping what they've always been planting, and they're reaping what they've always actually seeded for, what they've always watered. Yeah, they watered something, and now it is coming out to face them. And they were cheering when black community was going through the same thing, and now it is happening to them. And of course, yeah, that is karma. That's why I tell people that karma is real. Okay, but as long as karma is real also, I don't think if anybody should pray for bad from any person. Of course, yeah, it can be something they've been doing and something they've been cheering. And also, I'm not saying that it is good for you maybe to disrespect other people or rather to make other people feel bad. Yeah, but the fact that some of them are really suffering, the problem we have is that some of them are not even really true. Some of them are pretenders and all that. Okay, but let me talk on behalf of those people who are having real pain. Yeah, let me talk on behalf of the people who are like they are facing the real pain. Yeah, you know. Things like this, when they happen, it can happen to anybody. And I think leaders should also be very careful when they are leading their people and try to make sure that you see people don't suffer after they have just chosen you to be their leader or to lead them, because we are all human beings. We need good leadership. We need people who are treating us well and all that. We need people who are actually taking us in the right direction and all that. When we vote you into a government, we expect you to deliver, or rather maybe to do something that is going to help us in one way or the other. Okay, it is the responsibility of a leader to make sure that people are living better and people are surviving in a good way, because people are just your boss and you are a servant. You've been chosen to actually lead them or to guide them. So you become a boss, you become a servant to the people, and people are bosses to you. You need to listen to them and tell them what to do. But now the problem that is happening right now in the United States of America is the fact that the people who are rich above, they want to actually disrespect, and they want to make sure the poor who are poor below to remain poor below, and those who are rich above to remain at the above level of richness. Okay, and that is something that has really destroyed, and something that has brought problems to the people of America right now. That's why they are crying, because by doing that, you find out that there is inflation and there is price of things going high, and nobody can be able to control it. Yeah, so those people who are really at the middle class, they suffer, or those who are at the low class, they suffer, because when the price of items go high, they cannot be able to survive. They cannot be able to afford, and if they cannot be able to afford, it means they are going to cry, they are going to suffer, they're going to find it difficult even to raise their families and to take their children to school, because if you cannot be able to put some food on the table, it means you cannot be able to do a lot of things, to do many things. Therefore, I think the government should be considerate. Yeah, the government should at least look at them and take care of them, and at least consider even the lower class people, because they're really suffering, and the suffering is really painful. Yeah, it's going direct to their nerves, direct to their bones. And those people who are well, they're well off. At least they're living better, because it doesn't matter whether the price go high or they go low. It's none of the business, because they can be able to afford it. Yeah. So it is good that at least we look at our people and we see how we can be able to make life better for them. I'm talking on behalf of those people who are genuinely suffering, and the people who have pure heart and good heart and all that. You see, if you've been a bad person before and something like this going through is affecting you, then nobody needs to actually care about you, because maybe if you're a bad person, it means you've been doing some things like these on people before, and now it's happening to you, and it becomes difficult for even people to sympathize with you. Okay, but on behalf of those people now who are genuinely suffering, we need to look at them, we need to take care of them, we need to protect them, we need to guide them, because that is what is needed of us. Okay, so life has been difficult to these people, and these people are finding it difficult, so difficult for them to survive. Okay, and so as much as it's happening this way, the government needs to take care of them, the government needs to consider them, the government needs to love them, the government needs to be to stand on their behalf, because you see, when it happens this way, people now get to a point when they lose faith with the government. Okay, and people don't need to cry too much. And again, also, people need to know that they should also take care of themselves. Okay, when things like this are happening, you also need to take cautions. You also need to get to a point when you can be able to actually arrange your things well and plan your life well, because now that life is difficult and life cannot be it's not favoring you under the government that is ruling you, things are difficult. Try at least and take some cautions. Yeah, know how you can be able to save your money, how you can be able to handle things here and there, how you can be able to maybe get some little coins here and there, take your children to school and all that. Yeah, learn how maybe to use the smallest amount of money you can use a day, so you can be able to take care of the family well. Yeah, because you won't die because of this. At the end of the day, nobody cares about you, and nobody is standing to protect you. Okay, and you need to pray and ask God to help you, because at a point like this, people who are greedy and they are doing their own things cannot take care of you. So for those genuine people, genuine white people who are genuinely suffering, and they've been people of the pure heart, and they are low backgrounds people, God will look through you. What you need to do is just to focus, take care of yourself, protect yourself, and learn how to save, work out yourself slowly by slowly, and things are going to be fine. Okay, but at the end of the day, we need to know we should respect other people. Let us not do things for us to be able to hurt other people, rather to make other people look bad, make other people look like make pain go through their veins or something like that. Because this government was chosen to frustrate white people, to frustrate black people. And now the same government that white community chose to frustrate black community, it is now frustrating they themselves. So it's a lesson to be learned, and I think everybody is learning that lesson. I think everybody is now coming out to see what can be able to be done, or what you can be able to encounter or to go through when you make a decision that is wrong. Tell me what you think on the comment section. Thanks for watching Black Empire.